Hey, welcome to The Real Truth. I am Dalton Haupt, and today we're going to talk about the prisoner's dilemma. So, this is game theory. I think it's a good introduction because it's relative to real life and it's pretty simple. So, the premise of this is that there's two prisoners separately being interrogated after committing a crime. The police are trying to get them to confess on each other, and they cannot communicate with each other, and confessing about the other person can make their prison sentence less. So, there's an incentive there for the prisoner to confess. Now, here's player one, player two on their strategic game, and you see their options they have. They can either confess or stay quiet. Now, in scenario one, where they both stay quiet, player one goes to jail for a year, and player two goes to jail for a year. If player one confesses and player two stays quiet, that changes. Player one would get off completely, have no jail time, while player two goes to jail for 10 years. If player one stays quiet and player two confesses, and player one's going to go to jail for 10 years while player two gets off. As you see, it's the same thing there, just reversed. And if they both confess, player one goes to jail for 5 years, and so does player two. So, how do people act? People act rationally for themselves. If they can't communicate with each other, they're not going to be cooperative. They're not going to rely and trust on the other one to not confess and stay quiet. So, when you really look at the payouts they have, both of them should confess, or they're going to end up getting the worst outcome they can have. It's not guaranteed, but it's likely. So, what happens is both of them confess, and they both end up with 5 years in jail. This is an example of people not cooperating and making the situation worse for themselves than it could be. I mean, if they would have been able to cooperate and talk to each other, then they probably would just both stay quiet. But a lot of times in the real world, that's not how it is. And as we see here, this is a pretty real life situation that could easily happen. They both end up going to jail for 5 years when they could have actually had a less sentence. So that's the prisoner's dilemma. We're going to do more game theory in later videos. So make sure to stay tuned. And this is The Real Truth. I'm Dalton Haupt. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll real see you.